Hi everybody, I'm Drew.
And I'm Genton.
And this is
The Captain's Room.
Welcome back, and now it's time for us to start talking NFL.
So we are in the middle of August, and that is the middle of the NFL preseason. The number of our voting days are limited.
We're going to start looking at our NFL fantasy teams. We're going to start reviewing the NFL itself. We're going to try to make predictions on what's going to happen throughout the year. I've been watching the NFL since I was a kid. Jen, how long have you been watching the NFL?
I have been watching it also since I was a kid, and this is actually the first season that I will not be watching Tom Brady.
Yeah, this is going to be a very different season for everybody who is a younger generation who grew up with Tom Brady. This is going to be fun. The NFL is full of drama, and I am so excited to get started in talking about NFL. This is what we do when we don't have our boat available to us. This is the NFL. Let's go! My team on my draft is going to be called the Magditch Boys. We have not won a championship yet. We're always middle of the road, but this year it's going to be different. This year we're going to win the championship. Let's go Magditch Boys.
And I have never done a fantasy league, so this year I'm really just going to take notes and try to figure out how the process works and hopefully have my own fantasy next time.
All right, well, let's do a cheers to football season, and let's begin to analyze what's going to happen this football season. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers. So today and during the NFL season, you're going to notice that we're not going to make the drink at the Captain's Room. Instead, we're going to start advertising our local breweries and local wineries throughout the area. So today, Genton, what are you drinking? I know this is a local winery.
So this is my favorite. This is from the Gilmington Winery, and this is the Raspberry Merlot, my absolute favorite. This will always be in stock in the Captain's Room.
That's fantastic. For me, I'm drinking a 603. This is one of our local breweries. Tell everybody what your name is.
Anastasia.
Very good. All right, hop down. We'll talk to you in a little bit. So with us today, we have our couple of friends slash my analysts. We have sitting next to me one of the greatest of all time Bottle Bash players, although not undefeated, but close, because he's lost to me. We have Connor. Next over here, we have Sean, or otherwise known as Play Stay Sean, my Bottle Bash partner. And over here, Joe.
That's Joe.
Anyways,
that's
average Joe. That's just average Joe. AFC East, these are my rankings. I have a few that I'm sure people are going to go ballistic over, but settle down, Jets fans, okay? It's not your fault. It's an organizational fault. We have first place Buffalo Bills. We have Josh Allen that is going to kill it this year. He is going to be a menace. He's going to make a few mistakes. I do not foresee them winning Super Bowls, but in the regular season and in the playoffs, they are going to be a handful. Number two, everybody's going to disagree with this, but watch out. Bill Belichick with the Patriots, they're coming back this year. Bill Belichick is going to have a lot to prove. He is going to have to show that he was the coach that we all thought he was with Tom Brady. And this year is really a year that he's going to have to come off big and show that his skills as a coach are really legitimate legendary coaching. Number 3, the New York Jets. Over number 4, Miami Dolphins. And why am I putting Miami last? I know. Listen, Tua is going to have another concussion this year. It is going to be the topic of discussion this year. Everybody's going to freak out over it. Oh, what do we do with quarterbacks and the concussion protocols? Listen, it's a sport. It is a physical sport. People are going to get hurt. Nobody cries when a wide receiver suddenly takes one on the head and is knocked out for 30 seconds. But when we have to pay a quarterback $25, $30 million a year, now it's a problem. Listen, Tua, you're a great guy, but you're small, and now you put on weight. You have never played with this much weight before. That's been the topic of the season. Tua's put on all this weight. He's taking jiu-jitsu. When anybody has to explain to me what's going on with you, that's when I know it's not good. So, Dolphins last, New York Jets, Patriots, Buffalo Bills. Jetson, what do you got?
I am going to disagree with you.
Yeah, most
Absolutely.
people will. Most people in the world will.
I do agree that the Buffalo will come in number 1. The Jets, I'm not a big fan of Aaron Rodgers, but I think they'll do really well. And I'm going to put them at number 2. Number 3.
Oh my God, Aaron Rodgers. Okay, keep going. No, who am I?
You know what? Maybe he's not a baller this time, all right? Maybe he'll be a baller this round.
And that's a shout out to you, Mr. Colin Cowherd. Aaron Rodgers, Baylor, not a baller.
Patriots, I'll go 3rd. And Miami, I'll agree with you as last.
I have Buffalo Bills at number 1 for the 3rd straight year. Strong core, good coaching. Josh Allen's elbow should be fully healed from his stint last year. Miami and the Jets are hard at number 2. First year quarterback running it is a little hard, even though I love Aaron Rodgers. But the New York Jets offensive line kind of scares me. Rodgers was spoiled in Green Bay, was their ability to develop offensive linemen. So I think he's going to have some ups and downs, especially against some strong defensive fronts on their schedule. So I think I'm going to give the edge to Miami at 2nd place. I just can't see New England beating any of those teams in the standings. There's no explosiveness. They lost their best offensive receiver in Jacoby Myers.
They got Juju Smith.
They did bring in Zeke.
And you got to admit, the New England Patriots offense, let's admit this, boys, is probably one of the most explosive offenses of all time.
The crowd goes mild.
New England last place, New York coming in number 3, Miami 2, and Buffalo number 1. All right. My man, Mr. Play, Stay Sean.
It's this easy.
3, 2, 1, 0.
We have a moment here. Ramp. Hot take. Hot take. Whoa.
Fins up.
Fins up.
Need I say more?
Fins
No,
up.
I don't need to. They're going to be number 1. Josh Allen's going to choke like he usually does. They're going to be great, but they're going to be number 2. Okay? Aaron Rodgers, I'll give the Jets 3, because I think they're going to be great. And the Patriots, who are the most boring, pathetic team this year, I think. They're going to be awful. Their defense will be great, but not enough to beat the Jets, Dolphins, or the Bills. Both Dolphins, Bills, Jets, Pats.
Wow.
To the Super Bowl.
Let us.
Fins up.
All right, Joe. What do you got?
I have got the Buffalo Bills taking the division. They
Boy,
have proven.
Nobody thought that. Nobody thought that.
The original.
They have proven time and time again in the past few years that they can do it. I have Miami taking 2nd, the New England Patriots taking 3rd, the Jets taking 4th.
Ah, yes. Yes. Aaron Rodgers, baller, and Baylor.
Mind you,
It's a new team.
it's a new team. The Patriots are also a new team under offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien. I think the offense will be much better than it was under Matt Patricia. The Jets' schedule to start is looking pretty rough. Last year, they were all very, very close. I think the Patriots will edge it out, beat 1 or 2 more games than the Jets.
All right, Joe, you get to call the AFC North. What do you got here?
Unfortunately, I had time to look at the schedule and kind of piece together what I think. But this is going off a gut feeling. I haven't looked at the schedule yet. The Bengals will take the division again, then the Ravens, Steelers, then Browns. I trust that the coaching for the Steelers, Mike Tomlin hasn't finished under 500 in ever. I think he'll be able to keep that team afloat. I think they'll be able to finish better than the Browns. The other two, I think, are pretty set in stone. I could see Baltimore taking it, but off a gut feeling, I'll take the Bengals.
All right, Sean, what do you got?
I'm not sure about this division, but I am sure the Steelers are going to be last because they are just atrocious. I'm going to go Ravens number 1. That's exciting to me. New off, I'm just so excited for them. The wide receiver core is great. Mark Andrews a dog. Lamar himself, you forget about it. Well, number 2.
Wait a minute! What do we have going on today? Another hot take!
I'm going to go Browns. I'm going to say it. I think if Deshaun Watson can even slightly resemble what he used to be, that's going to be great for that offense. Nick Chubb is one of my favorite players in the league, and I think that offense could be awesome. David Njoku's a dog. Mark Cooper's great. Without Elijah Moore, he's awesome. They got some studs, and I think they could do it. And then I'll have the Bengals at 3rd. Which
I'm sorry, I just choked on my unbelief.
It's hard.
Okay.
Joe Burrow's
Yeah.
awesome, and he's amazing, and I love him. But I'm just gonna put the Browns at 2. I'm gonna put the Bengals at 3, and the Steelers at 4.
Wow, that is an unbelievable take for that division. But I love your candor, and don't ever bring it again. And this show, we're really trying to bring to people accurate information, not. Continuing on, Connor, you're up.
Looking at these two divisions, there's a lot of glaring similarities how I'm looking at it. They both have in my opinion, fairly boring offense that centers around their defense and coaching. The Steelers and Patriots, 2 young quarterbacks that are somewhat one-dimensional. 2 quarterbacks that are coming in, and one's a veteran from Green Bay and one from Houston coming off of suspension. Both have a pocket passer that's young at the top of their game. They each have an athletic young quarterback that has a lot of potential. I agree with Sean, where I think the Steelers are in a good spot for last place. They'll compete with the Browns. I could see the Steelers outplaying the Browns this year. As a die-hard Baltimore homer, I've watched Joe Burrow torch them for a few years now, just put up insane numbers on their secondary. Baltimore's secondary is like one of our calling cards, so it's hard to predict us beating them, but we don't necessarily have to beat the Bengals in 2 games. We have to beat, the schedule. That's what we're playing. What Joe said about a new offensive coordinator, Lamar's healthy, he got paid, gave him weapons that he wanted. It's possible we take the division 2, but I think I would put my money on the Bengals.
So you're going Bengals first, Baltimore number 2, and then you're
Likely Cleveland 3.
Cleveland 3, and
Pittsburgh.
Cleveland
Pittsburgh
really just hinges
Fuck
on
the
whether or
Steelers.
not
oh man! All right, Jen, what do you have?
I think I'm actually agreeing with Connor.
Wow, you're going right with his list.
I think I am. You
Wow.
said the
Smart.
Bengals first, Baltimore
Give the edge.
second, Browns, and then I'm putting Steelers as last.
I gotta say, I'm not too far off with you, Connor, actually, as much as I laugh at you, but Cincinnati definitely is going number 1. Let's face facts, Joe Burrow is a stud. It's not the tangibles that I'm looking at, it's the intangible, which is leadership. And I think Joe Burrow came into an organization that has historically been known for chaos, disorganization, and just tire fire. And he brought them to the playoffs, and he's brought them success, and now he's brought them to Super Bowls. You don't do that unless you have what the intangibles are, which you can't measure, which is leadership. So there you go. There's my number 1, going with Cincinnati. I'm going to go number 2, Baltimore. Baltimore is one of those strong studs of a cast. I mean, how do you look at Lamar Jackson and think he's not going to run down your throat? But I think people have figured him out a little bit. And I think they got defenses that are going to scheme to him. And I'm going to watch out because I'm going to think that the Belichick's of the world, the defensive coaches, they got his number. They know what to do with him.
Brand new
They're gonna take
offense.
him. Number 3, Pittsburgh. I'm not going back to talent. I'm going back to organization. We've all worked for an organization that is completely dysfunctional. Well, guess what, people? That is the Cleveland Browns. If you have not watched yet on Netflix, the special that they had on Johnny Football, watch it. Because I don't think it told a story about Johnny Football. Everybody's got a problem. Everybody has an issue to deal with in life. It is about the organization. How dumb do you have to be to draft, first round, a quarterback that you know full-heartedly is an alcoholic. And then when you do that, you don't get him help. You throw him to the spotlight and to the wolves. That story was about the Cleveland Browns, which is the most dysfunctional organization, I think, in the NFL. Therefore, you could give them any quarterback in this league, including my man, Mr. Patty Mahomes. And I don't think even he could save dysfunction in that organization. So therefore, Cleveland Browns, you are never going anywhere. That's my take on them.
What hinges on this division is quarterback play for the Browns and the Ravens. The Ravens, when Lamar Jackson plays healthy all year, he is an MVP candidate. Deshaun Watson, if he comes back to even 80% of his form that he was in Houston, they could be really good. It really hinges on those two factors.
The AFC South.
This is one of the easier first place locks of the NFL this year.
If anybody
Obviously, the
disagrees,
Texans.
if anybody says anything other than Jackson, I mean,
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, I have Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence returning to their end of the year form last year, their second year under Doug Peterson. If you look at their division, it's a cakewalk. They have two rookie quarterbacks that are pretty green. I do like the Tennessee Titans. They have stability, which is key. Core of guys that have played together for a little bit. Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill still there. They have a good hard-nosed football coach for their defense. They're a candidate to, maybe get in a wild card spot against some of those other tougher AFC teams and maybe even get an upset in the postseason.
I'm gonna have to agree completely with Connor. Trevor Lawrence, I wasn't a big fan of him when he entered the league, but he's definitely progressed over the years. He's gotten better, and I think this year he's going to do very well. The Titans, I definitely enjoy watching Tannehill. The other two, they're tossed up in the air. The Texans typically don't have a great season, and the Colts, sometimes I think Connor said, he might be the wild card.
I actually pretty much agree a lot of what you guys are saying. Jacksonville, I'm not even going to touch on let's face facts. They're going to win the division. If they don't, it's the biggest upset of the year. Trevor Lawrence is going to have a lot of exposure. Tennessee Titans, I don't think there's really anybody else who can take number two. You're talking about a solid quarterback. No, he's not going to be dynamic. No, he's not going to give you the biggest plays of the industry, but he's solid. And he's always been solid. When you're talking about Ryan Tannehill, he's going to win you games, and that's all they need to do to beat Houston and Indianapolis this year. But when I look at this last two teams, I have to go back to what I say. I need a grown-up in the room. We've all worked for an organization that has been dysfunctional, who cannot seem to figure things out, and that's the Houston Texans. They can never figure anything out. They make knee-jerk reaction decisions. They do not perform the way they're supposed to. So I'm going to go ahead and discount that. Houston Texans, you're out. Indianapolis Colts, you have a great new quarterback. He's a rookie. He's going to have ups and downs this year. There's no way you're going to win a division with a brand new quarterback, but you're going to make a show. And it's going to be exciting watching the Indianapolis Colts, I think, this year. I think they're one of my favorite teams to watch this year, just to watch a new quarterback grow. And when it comes to Houston, probably going to tune you out. So that's my picks. All right, Joe, what do you got?
Let's start from the bottom. At the bottom, I have also the Houston Texans. This year's draft was very strong, but it'll take either 1 or 2 more years for them to build a strong enough roster to contend, play some games. And then next I have the Colts, rookie quarterback, on a great foundation. They have not been handling the Jonathan Taylor situation very well. We had high expectations for them last year and they didn't perform. Between 2 and 1, I will say Jacksonville, they do have a very strong roster. Doug Peterson, complete 180 from Urban Meyer. They have been very great. But the Tennessee Titans, very strong coaching with Mike Vrabel, very strong offensive pieces. Tannehill, solid quarterback. Derrick Henry, elite running back. Hopkins, nuke, elite. Last year, injuries is what derailed that team. They were still a wild card team until week 18, I believe, when Jacksonville kicked them out of the playoffs. Mike Vrabel dragged an injured team to almost the playoffs. The year before that, they won 13 games. Pretty much the same roster, I believe. It will be closer than we think, but I do have Jacksonville taking the number 1 spot.
All
And
right.
Tennessee taking the number 2.
And Asia is going to be making picks too. Peters, what do you got?
I'm pretty much on board with everyone else. This division feels pretty easy. You got the Jacks. I think T-Law is going to take another step this year. They're all looking great. They just got Calvin Ridley. Their running backs are awesome. I think they're just a loaded team. Like Jensen, I didn't like T-Law at first, but I'm starting to warm up to him. Hey, Asia. And I think they're going to be great. And I think the Titans will be right behind them. I liked them. They were great last year. And you got Derek, like Joe said, Derek Henry the Yeti. You got Hopkins.
Does he have gas left in the tank? I believe
We're going to find
He
out.
didn't
He
show
didn't look
last
slow last year, so.
Isn't that always the question? Do they have gas left in the
Exactly.
tank? And boy, that's what makes fantasy so great and hard. Is because you're looking at a player
Every
and
year,
you know,
you gotta figure it
you
out.
know, he was dynamic. And
Last year he came off an
extraordinary.
injury too.
And now does he have
Hardly what, 3 or 4?
And injury
Just a
reports,
dog.
same thing.
He's
You're
a
always
Yeti.
looking at a player now. They've been injured. Will they come back, and will they be the same dynamic player they just once were?
Right.
I think Derrick Henry with you is a dog. All right, let's face facts. He's so big,
Right.
and he runs through people. So even
Until
if
we
he,
see it.
even
I'm
if
not
he
gonna say
goes
he's slow.
back a little bit,
Right.
that's still
Still
further than
insane. Still
90%
better
of the league.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
This is I don't know. Derrick Henry's a dog.
With
I love him.
Hopkins just elite.
Yeah.
I think Burks, hopefully he gets over his injury. Yeah, I think they're a close second. I like them a lot. And then these last two, I think Texans were one of the worst teams last year, and I think not much is going to change. So I'm going to put them in the bottom, and I'm going to take the Colts. I'm gonna guess they figured this thing out with Jonathan Taylor. Maybe they don't, but whatever. They got Anthony Richardson, who's exciting. He's mobile. I like him more than Stroud. So I'm gonna take them at 3 and the Texans at 4.
Just so we know, I have a man
This
who
division
has a hot take. All right, so I think Sean, you can go ahead and start us off with the AFC West. Oh wait. Oh this. Auto bash. Sorry. Undefeated. I'm undefeated. I usually don't bring this into the league.
This is so embarrassing.
It is so embarrassing, dude. Why did we have that?
Put that away.
Oh my God!
I told you
All
to
right,
put it away.
all right. You start. I'll go put this away. AFC West. You go ahead and kick us off. Bottom back.
I'm not gonna argue with the Chiefs being number 1. It's no surprise. They always are. They're great. There's no reason for me to say otherwise.
And now that you say that,
3, 2, 1, 0.
womp 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 womp. Hot take action. All right.
That's about the coldest take you can get.
Honestly, this is actually the hottest take I've heard yet, and he'll be on our show later, my buddy Dave.
Yeah,
I think
that's
Dallas
good.
Dave has some great hot takes, and I think everybody's going to enjoy his content when he gets on the show. It's unreal. I don't believe in it, but he's got he's got some great arguments for this. Stay tuned for that, because you're not going to believe what he put Mr. Patty Mahomes, and it's not going to be at the top. I can tell you that right now. So, all right, Sean, what do you got?
I love her. And I got them close. Last year I had them beating the Chiefs, but we broke a couple ribs. I love the Chargers. I'm gonna put them at 2. I'm gonna put the Broncos at 3. I hate Russell Wilson. He's just the cringiest, and I know I'm letting my personal, but I don't care. This is what this is all about. He's dangerous. That's cringe. If you've ever had the Danger Witch, I'm sure it tastes like. He's awful. I don't think they're gonna be as bad as they were last year. I think they take a step up, though. I really do. I do believe that. I don't think they'll be as good as the Chargers, though. And that's why I put them at 3. I put the Raiders at 4 because Jimmy G.
But
Don't
he's
get me
so
wrong.
cute.
He's handsome.
He's not
And I'll
gonna
tell
be
you,
number
Handsome
one.
Jimmy G.
Oh, boy, is
Handsome
he
Jimmy G.
He is one good-looking fellow.
He
but
is not going
that
to be number
does
4
not
in this division.
contribute to his football skills, sadly. If it did, they would be winning the Super Bowl, but it doesn't. And they got all these question marks. Josh Jacobs, what's going on with him? The defense isn't great. And I'll just have to put them at 4.
All right, Joe, what do you got?
It's hard to argue against the Kansas City Chiefs. They have shown quite a bit of success, to say the least, the past few years. So I won't.
Well, that's a take. Hit the button. Hit the button. Hit the button.
That's right. So yeah, I won't spend too much time on that. The Chargers, I will take second. They have a new offensive coordinator. It should be a lot better than the Joe Lombardi offense. Justin Herbert, very great quarterback. They have very good offensive weapons. I'll leave them at 2. The Broncos and the Raiders, tough. I do have kind of a soft spot for the Raiders, but Sean Payton, Hall of Fame coach, hopefully should be able to turn the Broncos around from their not great season last year. Hopefully he makes Russell Wilson good again. Actually, I'll take the Raiders third and the Broncos last.
There you go.
I'm
Love
sorry.
it. I like it.
Yeah.
The Broncos. Russell Wilson, man.
Listen, you know, you guys make great arguments. Great arguments. I mean, first of all, Patty Mahomes. No further information needed for that. It's kind of like saying Tom Brady, and so this man is on track to become the GOAT. And if not, he already is the GOAT. There's no argument there. Herbert is my dog. If there is somebody who's gonna give somebody a run, when Herbert gets running on the ground and gets his traction going with his team, I don't know how you stop that, because Justin Herbert is probably the dog of dogs.
What about the last game he played?
Whatever. Everybody
Man,
has.
if
Hey, listen. If we all looked at,
Jets,
hey,
remember that.
I can remember Tom Brady throwing many interceptions and being like, oh, I guess he's falling off the ledge, and then he comes back and wins another Super Bowl. So I'm not saying anything against it. We all have days. Not me, but others I hear. They all have days, and Herbert's one of them. So listen, I love Justin Herbert. I don't give a crap. That's it. That's number 2. Number 3 is going to be my Raiders, but I'm going to tell you something right here. And this is the hot take. I'm actually thinking the Raiders actually should have ended up taking the number 2 spot. I'm actually a Raiders man. Listen, it goes against what I normally think. Bad organization, bad leadership, bad everything. And the Raiders, that's why they have to be my number 3 on the list. But Jimmy G has done nothing but a solid quarterback. When he's healthy, and that's the problem. When he's healthy, and that's part of the playing football, you gotta be available and participating. But when he's healthy, he's got a great record. He has got an unbelievable winning record. He is actually going to beat out Justin Herbert when it comes to winning records. He's healthy. So I actually think that if, and that's the biggest thing, if he can stay healthy, he will beat out the Chargers and take the number 2 spot. I just don't think he can stay healthy, and that's not a big take. I mean, he's never stayed healthy for the entire season. So, and Denver Broncos, I'm sorry, Russell Wilson, people, he's washed. Period. The end. A coach does not come out defending his quarterback that hard, insulting other coaches. People do not run out onto the press line and stomp their feet unless they know they're in for a tire fire. This is not a coach who this is his first day in. He's been around the block. He knows when he's got problems. And trust me, Denver Broncos have problems. And they're way worse than they're letting out. This is a washed up team. It's over. They're a 4-win team, if you ask me. Done, over. It's not even close. So LA and Las Vegas, they can fight out for number 2. Patty Mahomes is going to be cakewalk. He's walking on into the playoffs. And Tom Brady, watch out. The GOAT is coming for the GOAT. All right, Jen, what do you got?
I'm definitely going to agree with that. So I put Kansas City first. No surprise there. Chargers, as everyone says, we already love the quarterback. I definitely can't put Raiders as last. It's the Broncos. I love my Jimmy G.
Jimmy is
He's so
too
cute.
hot.
He's so cute.
I love this.
Oh my god. He's so cute.
If only handsomeness won football games.
Right.
Dude,
Totally.
if handsomeness would win a football game, I would be the GOAT. Alright? We all see it. We all see it. Okay, go ahead. Connor.
I'm gonna rock with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes to win the West. The coaching for the Chargers gets a lot of flack. I'm a fan. I appreciate that they're big into analytics. Want to coach smart football.
Listen, I'm into man-alytics, not analytics. Man-alytics. That's the ability that you can't measure. A guy who wants to win. And good luck stopping that guy.
So they use analytics because they want to win. They want to use it intelligently. They want to, go for two and people, oh, why don't you just kick the field goal? Oh, why don't you just punt and let the other team have it? No, they want to go for the throat. They want to win football. Don't let the other team blow it. You win the game. I like that mentality. It hasn't always worked out for them. They catch flack for it. I like the decision making.
Probably because of analytics.
And they didn't
Oh,
have
sorry.
to-
Go ahead, Connor. Keep going.
So Andy's reasoning for the Raiders over the Broncos with Sean Payton coming in and saying blaming coaching and defending Russell Wilson. Exactly the point I was going to bring up, but I was going to use it in the opposite sense. So I'm kind of putting stake in what Joe said, a Hall of Fame coach in Sean Payton. If he's coming out and he's saying,
Hot take.
if he's saying this was the worst coaching job that I have ever seen in the NFL, or whatever the quote was, if you put a coach down publicly after a bad season, unprofessional, he's gotta produce. You can't just come out and have a dud with the Broncos, which is a pretty good roster, a Hall of Fame quarterback. You can't just come out and put a dud on that. And just they replaced Mangio with Peyton. They're going in the right direction. Raiders replaced Carr for Garoppolo. Wrong direction. That was a scapegoat for their poor coaching on their first year. I'm going to put the Broncos at third over the Raiders.
Let me just say though, if you know you're not going to win a Super Bowl and you know you're not going to go deep into a playoff, whether you're with Carr or Garoppolo, then go with the cheaper. Because either way, you're not going anywhere. Get the cheaper quarterback and start building a better roster.
You don't think the Raiders are trying to win?
I do, because I do think that Jimmy G is a winner. I think that they're going to try to win until he gets hurt. The problem is until he gets hurt, and that's been my take. 7 wins into it, he's gonna be hurt. He's gonna have a bad injury because the man never gets the same injury twice.
The problem with Jimmy G is he was with the Raiders. Kyle Shanahan's offense is very quarterback friendly. Just get the ball to your best players and they will make plays. And it's a different offense under Josh McDaniels with the Raiders. I'm interested to see how he'll do. It will be different. I think it will be more difficult than
The only thing,
49ers.
and then you got to remember, Josh McDaniels, he had Jimmy G before, so this is good. This is going to be
And he did
not
win
a
games
new
with the
relationship.
Patriots.
This is a repeat relationship. He already knows what Jimmy G's weaknesses are. That's why I think he's going to be great. So we're moving into NFC East. I'm going to start this off. Here we go. People already got the Philadelphia Eagles winning this. Well, newsflash, I don't think so. And I just think that the Philadelphia Eagles had lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah, hot take.
There we go.
Hot take.
All right, yeah, hot take. I think they caught. I think they caught lightning in a bottle, and it was great for them last year. How do you repeat it though? And repeating something that was so great when you had time off, that's the hard part.
I want to agree. The Super Bowl hangover, it's pretty real for a lot of teams. So it could easily happen to the Eagles.
Super Bowl hangovers. You're talking about. I mean, just the advertisements alone that come to these players that you weren't expecting, the popularity, the performances, the advertising, everything that goes with going to a Super Bowl. They weren't ready for all that. Philadelphia Eagles, they're number 2. And number 1 this year, believe it or not, I hate to say it, New York Giants. It's not because I have faith in Daniel Jones, I can tell you that. There's a man who he really is not dynamic at all, but he's solid. And again, that's what they're looking for. New York has too much to prove now. the city of New York, not New York Giants. I'm talking the city of New York has too much improved. Think about every team that they have. You're talking about the only team that's producing anything in that city right now, slightly, is their New York Knicks with Brunson, and he can't carry an entire city. So New York Giants are going to have to do something to get this city back on track, being what New York should be, which is a sports town. Number 2, obviously, I'm going to go now Philadelphia Eagles. Number 3, I'm going to go Dallas Cowboys. I have no faith in Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is an excuse maker. I think he's been carried all his career by other players, by coaching. They've gotten rid of coaches that were supporting him. Dak Prescott's not what people think he is. Yeah, he's got the intangible of being a nice guy, but nice guys aren't going to win you games.
This guy's finished last.
And Washington Commanders, let's just face facts. Washington Commanders, I'm sorry, you're number 4, and that's the way it's going to be. So, Jen, you move on. What do you got?
I'm definitely going Eagles number 1.
Oh, wow.
Eagles number 1. I do not think the Giants are going
So
to
you
do well.
so you love Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts
I
is
do.
a great quarterback. I don't want to take anything away from Jalen.
You know, I'm not a big fan of the other teams. I think this is probably a very weak division. I'm going to go Eagles, Cowboys,
Yes.
Giants, and then the Commanders definitely last.
All right. Nice take. Connor, what do you got?
The Philadelphia Eagles have the best roster in the NFL, top to bottom. I think they're likely the best team, and they play in.
I agree. They definitely are the best team.
And they do
just
play
I don't
in
think they're going to win it.
by far the worst conference in football. Like Joe was saying earlier about not being able to look at the schedules super tight before this. Philly is one of the ones I have looked at their schedule more. There's a lot of games last year where they were blowing them out in the fourth quarter. In a stretch, like in the second third of the season, where San Francisco, Kansas City, I'll say Minnesota, some really strong contenders, Dallas, and there's a legitimate shot that they can just run the table, beat every team on their schedule. Their weaknesses are very slim. And this is year 3 Jalen Hurts. That's usually when we see players take their final step to become superstars. I think he was on track for an MVP season last year before a late injury. So yeah, I like the Philadelphia Eagles a lot.
Who's your number 2?
Number 2, New York Football Giants.
Enough said.
Everything
Enough said.
good coming out of camp for Daniel Jones. They got him hopefully an alpha weapon and a great tight end, Darren Waller. I mean, it's not necessarily that I'm huge on the Giants. It's that, the Dallas Cowboys, what can go wrong will go wrong.
Amen to Dallas.
Not a
Jerry Jones, get your act together. It's over. Get rid of these players. Be the Jerry Jones we once knew, and go get yourself a winning team.
not a Mike McCarthy fan.
No, the man couldn't manage a clock. If you can't manage a clock, what are you doing? I can't manage a clock. You don't see me as an NFL coach, all right?
In Washington, they've got solid pieces. I like Rivera, but they're the one clearly without a keystone at quarterback, and that just hurts you in a strong division like that.
Let me pour myself a beer. I am getting Summer Session Peak. This is, I don't know who this is from.
Not sponsored,
It's not sponsored at all.
but we would like it to be.
It's a great beer though.
We are sponsored by Tap Water.
So here we go. Tap water. Wow, great.
Funded this episode.
Laconia Tap Water
Cut that
Industries.
Please.
Okay. Sean, go ahead. Give us your take.
Alright. It's hard to argue that the Eagles aren't going to be the number one in this division.
Although I just did.
Yeah, and there wasn't much of an argue. Your points, I mean, you said it yourself that you think they're the best team, so that right there just says they're going to be number one. I don't really get what you're saying. They're great. Jalen Hurts, a dog. Their defense, amazing. Their offense, amazing. They've just only added to it with these draft picks that they had. Their O-line, they're awesome. They made great picks. I think they're going to be somehow even better than they were last year. Devonta Smith, he's awesome. AJ Brown, they're just great. Number 2, I'm going to play for a loop. I'm going to go Commanders. Let's get wild with it.
Wow.
Let's get crazy with it.
Wow. Bam, bam, bam. Wow. Commanders?
Sam Howell could do it.
I think they're going to be better than a lot of people think this year.
And they thought I was stupid with my take. Okay, go ahead, defend that.
There's not much to defend.
Yeah, okay.
I just,
Washington Commanders. There's no real reason for it. You're just picking
It's just gonna happen.
Who's number 3?
I'm just taking it. I think they're going to be better than a lot of people give them credit for. I think their offense could surprise a lot of people. I love the weapons they have. I hate Danny Dimes. I'm going to say it. I don't believe in them. That team was great last year, but I'm going to put them at 3.
Cowboys.
You skip because the Cowboys suck.
Skip, hold on, Skip.
No, their defense is great. I'm not a believer of Dak. He's always injured. Something's going wrong, and I can't do it with the Cowboys. I can't defend them in any way, shape, or form. I will say their defense is good. I just see them being 4.
All right, Joe, what do you got?
The thing about the NFC East, it's a very strong division. All the teams were really close last year until the Eagles took it away. All were wild card teams. And I would like to bring up this little thing I Googled. Wikipedia.
Google.
The past-
Google alert.
Not sponsored.
The division
Unsponsored.
leaders. Philadelphia took it last year. Before that, Cowboys, then Commanders, Eagles, Cowboys. That trend continues. There has not been a repeat winner for the past 20 years.
Which is why the Eagles are not going to win the division this year. Because this
Solid
is actually where I'm going with it. But go ahead, Joe.
The last team to repeat was the Eagles. I'm gonna have to take the Eagles.
Okay.
They are the strongest roster. Second, the Cowboys. They also have
The Cowboys.
Cowboys.
All right. Here we
I think they also have a very strong roster. They're always not a bad team.
they're always solid.
They're always solid. The Giants, that was a flash in the pan. Brian Dable's a very great coach. Darren Waller is an elite weapon, so is Saquon. I'm not sure about Danny Dimes, and I'm not sure about their wide receivers. I don't think they're great though. The Commanders, rookie quarterback, I'm gonna have to put them as last.
Green Bay, Chicago, Detroit, and Minnesota.
This is a tough one. People love Detroit. I think DraftKings has said they're the most bet on team for the Super Bowl, to win the NFC, over on win totals. They're a decent roster. Their draft this year. Goff is capable. He's just a lesser Kirk Cousins, really. A game manager, more reliable. I have Minnesota winning the North, and Detroit coming in second. Between the Packers and the Bears, and we've seen Green Bay without Rodgers. Say what you want about Aaron Rodgers, but Green Bay is just not the same Packers without Aaron Rodgers. It's year 3 from Love, and there's still not a lot of confidence there. I do like the Bears. They're explosive. Justin Fields can take it to the house anytime. So hopefully with another year under his belt, Fields can finally take a win over the Packers in the division.
Connor, you did Vikings, Lions, Bears, and Packers.
Right.
I'm going to agree with Connor again this time.
Why don't we just put you
Yeah.
guys in the same? Why even bother? Why don't we just cut this whole segment? Jen just agrees with Connor.
This is why I'm here, for the outlandish takes. That's what we need to spice it
That's
up.
exactly.
Is everyone-
Exactly. You guys need real good takes on this. You agree with Connor's
I
take?
agree.
I'm going Minnesota first. Minnesota is a solid team in this division. That's the only thing you need is just a solid team. And everybody else is dog trying to fight a dog. You got Justin Fields, who's really, what has he proven? Nothing. Everybody thinks he can of course he can make a big play, but it takes more than just one big play to win a game. It takes expertise, an important position in any sport, because you need intelligence and you need athleticism. Justin Fields, I don't have a lot of faith in him. You're looking at Green Bay, they don't have confidence in their quarterback, never mind anybody else. The Detroit Lions, everybody's kind of putting them at the head spot or number 1. I'm not there, I'm not sold. Detroit Lions have always been a tire fire. There's a lot that needs to be done in an organization to beat a tire fire. At Detroit Lions, I'm gonna put them number 3, Minnesota number 1, Green Bay Packers number 2, Chicago Bears number 4. They're a letdown. If there's anything the Chicago people know, it's that when they're cheering for their Bears organization, they're 90% of the time let down. I'm sorry, Chicago.
At the top, the Detroit Lions. They did add a lot of pieces on defense. Their defense was their downfall last year. They had a very good offense, very great offensive line. They did add weapons on the offense. If their defense is any better, I think they have a chance of taking the division. Minnesota, also a very terrible defense.
I think that's what the problem was, is they're all very tight games, and they just happen to be on the right side of that.
Right. It's not repeatable.
Minnesota was
And
very
that's
lucky.
not going to be a repeatable function. You have to win your games by 3, right? To be able to say, we won. Anything that's too tight like that, it's not repeatable.
They do have an electric offense. They just added Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, amazing. Lost Dalvin Cook. I don't have very much faith in Alexander Madison as a running back, but their offense should be more pass
To be
oriented.
fair, I don't think they lost much when they lost Dalvin Cook. I think that was a Bill Belichick move where they got rid of something that they knew was done.
They're ahead of market on the running back market, which
Yeah.
is upsetting people. That's what I'm saying. Detroit, it looks like they're not up to speed on that yet. They're
Yeah.
spending, what is it, the 12th overall pick on a running back.
And they just acquired David Montgomery.
And David Montgomery, here's a player that has, fantasy-wise, always underperformed. I've always expected a little bit more out of David Montgomery. I've had him on my team twice. He's underperformed, so David Montgomery, hopefully he has a better year, but I just don't see it. Running backs, as we all know, they're on the decline. The minute they get the market, the minute they get that field, they're a car. They're just declining.
The Bears, bottom 2 are tough. Not sure how much faith I have in Justin Fields. He is very electric. He can make plays. It's really if he takes the next step as a passer. The Bears have not had a quarterback throw over 4,000 yards, I think, ever. It's really if he can take that next step. At the bottom, I have the Packers. Losing Rodgers is a lot. Jordan Love has started 1 game. Their 2 starting wide receivers were both rookies last year.
Next year's draft with quarterbacks and overall
They're
offensive
big.
weapons is going to be one of the strongest drafts in a long, long time. I think next year's draft is 1 to 10.
Packers are not bailing on Love after 1 year.
That might be their downfall.
They trade up to get him.
I've made mistakes in life too, but sometimes you gotta own your mistake. You get out of the mistake. Don't double down on something you know is wrong. You gotta get out of it. Just say, well, we did something, it didn't work, get out of that, and let's go on. The Packers are an organization that will recognize that. They're smarter than to double down on a mistake. They may say publicly that they're being, but I think everything that they're doing right now is showing maybe otherwise.
To be fair, I gotta give Love much of a shot, I guess. He hasn't been on the field a ton, so.
When you're starting behind Aaron Rodgers, you're not gonna have a problem unless there's injury. So,
Fair enough.
He gets the season.
So we'll find out really this year. What is
we'll
Jordan
find out.
Love? What is Jordan Love?
Yeah.
And I think that's a big question mark on everybody's mind because we know what the Packers are telling us. But
Weapons aren't a problem. He's got the weapons.
and that's probably Jordan's biggest problem is that anything that goes wrong will be his fault because he's got the organization. He's got this is an organization. It has strong leadership and he's got the weapons. So if this fails, Jordan Love, I'm sorry, but that's going to be on you.
like Lions, Vikings, Bears, Packers.
I agree.
Okay, good job.
Right there. The Lions are gonna be awesome. They were number 1 offense last year, if not top 3. Sadly, the worst defense. Their offense will be the same, if not better. They've added some pieces. I like Montgomery and Gibbs. Discount Kamara, Mark Ingram, if you will. It's dynamic, it's fun, it's explosive. Monroe is amazing. Great O-line, one of the best in the league. They can just improve that defense. Excellent. I'll take Vikings at 2. Kirk's like the most amazing, average,
just
right in the
average
middle.
guy.
Like he's got it, but just not quite enough. And
He's just the most average guy you're ever
yeah,
gonna
they
meet.
got some pieces. I just don't see them getting quite there. And
He's
he's
if,
awesome.
you're,
I love
if he
Kirk.
was a movie, no, he's not the Avengers.
He's not.
No, but he's also not going to be Throw Mama from the Train. Okay, which is an old movie back in the 80s. I'm sure a lot of people recognize the reference. But what he is solid. And he's got to win you games. And he's got to get you a chance. And that's what I love about Kirk
Unless it's
Cousins.
a prime time.
There's never
With
been
Kirk
a time. There's never a time Kirk Cousins didn't give you a chance unless it's prime time.
Yeah.
It just kind of dwindles away and says, "Oh, this is a lot of bright light here." So he wins the Super Bowl.
Right.
Oh no, he's not. If he goes to a Super Bowl, I can't even imagine. Kirk Cousins would just melt away. NFC.
Saints, Falcons, Buccaneers, and the Panthers. Let's see. Baker Mayfield. I'm not putting him at number 1.
Baker, the haymaker.
It's a little difficult here. I think I might go Saints as number 1. Derek Carr.
Wow. Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna go Saints, Falcons, Panthers, and then Buccaneers.
Wow. Falcons, number
Falcons,
2.
Number 2. I'm gonna put the Falcons over the Panthers.
I'm sorry. No, that's a great team. Any reason for the Falcons? Oh, number 2.
The Panthers, I always cheer for the Panthers. They always just come in short. So I'm just going to keep them short this year. Saints, Falcons, Panthers, and Bucks.
I'm going to go with your Saints take on winning the division. Their car's always been solid. The Las Vegas Raiders just didn't know what they had in them. They got rid of something that was extremely solid. Is he dynamic like Patrick Mahomes? No, he's going to win you games. He's a solid player, and this is really unfortunate that they had to do that. So I'm going to go Saints going to win. Number 2, Carolina. Bryce Young is going to have to perform, and so I'm going to roll the dice on. Obviously, this is a big gamble because Bryce Young is a new person coming into the league. The Carolina Panthers have shown that they can take young talent relatively quickly, and they don't ask a lot of their quarterbacks a lot of times. I'm ready to see Carolina go number 2. It's not to say that Carolina is great. The problem is Atlanta and Tampa are not. Let's face facts. Baker, you're number 3. Baker has always cared more about advertising. He's cared more about his self-image. He's cared more about, I don't need, as Colin Cowherd would say, a hat-on backwards guy. I need a quarterback in the room, not a guy with his hat on backwards who's not going to. Yeah, listen, Joe. I'm sorry,
guys.
You know, I'm just saying, turn your hat around and be a professional. If you're a wide receiver, you have the right to be an eagle. If you're a quarterback, you are the leader of a multi-billion-dollar company. Act like it. And that just hasn't been Baker yet. And hopefully he can prove me wrong because he's got the talent. It's just, will he actually do it? I just don't see it. He just doesn't have the maturity to do it, right? Like, he's not mature enough to do it. And that's okay. Saints.
I like Derek Carr. With the competition they have with the other 3 teams, Derek Carr's all they need to win the division. Falcons, they just added Bijan, who should be fantastic, but their roster isn't enough to beat the Saints, so I have them at 2. The Panthers at 3, Bryce Young, can't wait to see what he's got. The Buccaneers, you guys are talking about Mayfield. I'm not even sure he makes it through the whole season. Kyle Trask might start halfway through.
That's true.
But
That's
either
true.
way, I
I'm with you on that.
don't think either one of them have what it takes to give the Buccaneers a lot of success. Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Buccaneers.
Very solid. I like the Saints. Derek Carr can get it done. Their whole roster is pretty solid all around.
This year's got to be a lot about Derek Carr, don't you think? This is his moment to have to shine. It says, what is your career for Derek Carr?
It's so exciting for the Saints. Going from Dalton and all those question marks to Derek Carr, it could be just enough, just what they need.
It's going to be exactly right. It's just what they need.
About stability, Derek Carr has not had a lot of stability in Oakland/Las Vegas.
Oh, how do you get
Head
stability
coach-
with the Raiders?
Head coach after head coach, offensive coordinator after offensive coordinator.
Yep.
He just hasn't had stability to settle. Hopefully the Saints will make it a little bit.
I got them at 1, Falcons at 2, the Bucks are in trouble.
Baker.
I think that
Hey,
whole
Baker.
team is just, they're hurting. I'm going to take the upside with the rookie and the Panthers over what we have. Panthers at 3 bucks.
Along with the AFC South, this is the easiest division to predict the champion. I take the New Orleans Saints to be the best team in this division.
Oh
Might
boy!
be based on-
Get ahead of
My second place team in the division is the Buccaneers. They have a good defense. They have veterans all around. Group of winners. They have won a Super Bowl recently. Yeah, the quarterback's shaky. But look at the rest of the division. They have Desmond Ritter. They have Bryce Young. Good prospect. It's his rookie year. We know about quarterbacks in their rookie years. I think the Saints are a good team. Derek Carr. Think about what he's going from. The AFC West playing against Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson.
This has got to be a season that's about Derek Carr. It's not so much anymore.
He's head and shoulders. He's head and shoulders above the rest here.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to rely on Atlanta's offensive line. They might be PFF's highest graded line right now.
They got all the stats. Not sponsored, by the way.
Could be.
Should be. Should be. We have tens of followers. So just throwing it out there.
I'll rely on a little bit of experience from Ritter, good offensive line, good key defensive players. Carolina's looking for right now. New Orleans, Tampa, Atlanta, and Carolina.
Last one, NFC West. This is it. This is the final one. Play, stay, shine. Yeah.
I got you for 5 minutes, boy.
What do you got on this?
I have Niners first. It's hard to doubt Shannon.
Right.
He's a legend. You could have my grandma throwing football in that team and she'll be making plays. With the coordination, the weapons they have, a part of me really wants to root for Seattle. This isn't coming from a logical stance. I really loved what Geno did last year. Under all those odds, he blew everyone away.
Where did Geno even?
Where did he come from? That was
Yeah.
awesome. Now he's coming in this year with so much confidence. I
Is he?
love that. I just switched and I'm gonna go for the
Seattle.
Seahawks. I
Okay.
love their weapons. I'm so excited for Geno.
So you're going Seattle first, and now San
And
Fran.
then Niners. And I'm gonna go Rams, then Cardinals. I think Cardinals were one of the worst teams last year, and I don't think much has changed besides
Losing their star quarterback.
losing their Kyler Murray.
Let's just get rid of Kyler.
And
That's
they
all.
just they don't have much going on there. So I'm gonna put them last.
It goes back to organization. San Francisco, they do not have a quarterback that is as solid as you need to be. Yeah, Brock Purdy, he had a great come out, but people are getting footage on him now. They're getting gameplay on him, and once that comes out, everybody knows that that's when rookies or new quarterbacks really have to step up the game. It is now going to be based on organization. San Francisco is the epitome of being organized. This is literally, like you just said, an organization that takes any quarterback that they get and they make them look like a star because they know what to ask but and what not to ask. That is one and only reason I'm putting San Francisco ahead of Seattle. The number 2 will be Seattle, but it's not because I think he's coming out with confidence. I'm looking at Geno and now I'm thinking, he's saying to myself, oh my God, I gotta repeat this. Oh my God, I gotta show them that that was not a fluke. Oh my God, he had time to process what just happened. I went through interrogation school, and I am telling you right now that people have to process information at different levels. When you give them time to process it, that's when you see the reality. And in this case and scenario, I think Geno is going to process this information. He's going to want to perform. And that's what's going to knock him down, is he's going to try harder than what he needs to be trying. He's going to try to do too much, and that's going to bring him back. Number 3, LA Rams. Arizona is, again, just dysfunction. I don't care what anybody you want on that team because it's dysfunctional. How do you not win with Kyler Murray? I mean, he was great. He was a fantastic arm baseball player. I get he was small, but he was mobile. That's some personality stuff. But that's where management comes in. Manage the problem. Take Kyler and help him grow. Don't knock him down. Don't make him have to just, oh, you're an NFL quarterback now. Figure it out. Stop. Be an organization. Arizona, get your act together. Arizona, your last. Sorry, done deal.
I actually agree with your Tiger pick this time around. 49ers
Oh.
first.
Oh.
Yeah. We made it to the end, and then I'll finally agree with you.
Yeah, okay. My wife
49ers.
finally likes my picks.
The Seahawks,
Yes.
the Rams, and unfortunately, I wanted to say the Cardinals to have a higher spot, but unfortunately, they're at number 4 for me.
And the 2 best rosters are in the NFC, the Eagles and the Niners.
Niners have
They're
a
loaded
nasty
all over the place. Defensive
Man.
line. They might have the best linebacker in the league. Explosive on offense. McCaffrey now. Wanting Geno to win, sure. But Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. There's nothing to not like about San Francisco right now.
And give me a solid organization any day of the week over the most dynamic, mobile, exciting quarterback. Whoop-de-doo, good for you. Good luck overcoming bad management.
Second, I'm going to take Seattle. Longevity, stability. It's been like his 7th or 8th year last year. And he finally found his spot. He exploded.
And that's great management. Who are you? Geno, welcome to the organization. I'm a great management organization. You're going to be a Hall of Famer now.
You're going to get your
Excuse me?
shot.
You're going to get your shot. And man,
You're in the NFL. We expect you to be playing at the highest of the highest.
and that's the difference.
We will give you the weapons.
That's
We
the
will give you-
difference.
I love that.
I
I'm so excited.
love that. I love this storyline too. And Geno, I really do hope that he
That's what
proves
I'm
me
saying.
wrong.
Like, logically, I
Geno,
think the
prove me
Niners
wrong,
take
brother.
that one.
Come back just as strong as you were last year.
Let's go,
Prove me wrong.
You can
I
do it.
love the
They
storyline.
gave you the weapons. Let's do it.
In this preseason, he's not in a camp battle anymore. This is his team. This is his offense. He's got the whole camp. He's got Pete Carroll's faith. Seattle's a strong 2. Even though we've been all on Shanahan, no one said Sean McVay yet, who is, a great coach in his own right. Still,
Sean
the youngest
McVay
coach
is
in the
actually
league.
a genius.
He still is
Yeah,
the youngest coach, and he has been for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Their biggest stars are older. Stafford, Donald. The Rams are one of those teams you're gonna have to prepare for the Rams.
What
Pretty
scares you, though, about the Rams? I don't like anybody talking retirement. I don't like it when Aaron Rodgers were talking retirement. I didn't even like it when Tom Brady was talking retirement. Don't come out and say retirement if you don't mean it. McVay talks retirement.
I'm talking about retirement.
And this is your head of your organization. And Darnold, this is the lead of your defense. I don't like people talking retirement, and I think that's what knocked them back. I hope that by coming back this year, maybe they got in the locker room and let the guys know retirement's not an option. I'm here to win it, and I hope that's what happened, because when you talk retirement, it puts that sour in the room.
So Sean McVay comes off a Super Bowl run at a young age. Even if he is thinking about possibility of retiring, that's going to come out, that's going to be a news topic. Ultimately, I have trust in these professionals that when they decide not to, they're fully invested. I'm not scared of Aaron Donald being
You might not be,
half-assing.
but that guy in the locker room, when I'm a wide receiver and I have a close relationship with my coach, and now he's talking retirement, I'm thinking to myself, well, I got to get myself the contract that I need. Bigger money. I need to start talking to my agent, maybe possible movement, because I don't know what my coach is going to do. That's what happens in the NFL. Because this is not high school football where you get this, I go to high school. This is where I go to school. My parents live here. This is where I'm going to be. No, this is the NFL. This is a professional organization. So when a coach says, I'm leaving, and you have a close relationship with that coach, and you know that this is the stability of my organization, when he says, maybe I'm leaving, guess what? I'm thinking, renegotiate my contract, get me the heck out of Dodge before this organization goes south. That's what scares me about people talking retirement. That thought in everybody's mind, what's going to happen to me?
Doesn't scare me. The Rams are there to play ball. The Cardinals, no excitement.
Arizona had a chance, and we remember having the faith in Arizona that we thought they were going to be a lock shot organization. Suddenly they had maybe their together, and that they were actually going to be a lock shot, and they were going to start being one of the top dogs in the NFL. Was it
2 years ago, they were
2 years ago?
They were-
And they let it all go.
How long were
Why?
they undefeated for?
Why?
How many
The
games
coach
was
was
it?
Bad management. Bad management. You can't have bad management and expect everybody else down here to perform. No matter how elite you are, you can't overcome bad management. 8-0.
So, Steelers.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why.
Bengals stuff. They were the worst.
Last year, if the 49ers weren't brought down to their quarterback 4 against the Eagles, I honestly think they could have won the Super Bowl. I do have faith in Brock Purdy and that offense. He's got elite playmakers, elite defense. I think they'll do it again. Then I got the Seahawks. And Geno has what it takes. Pete Carroll clearly thought Geno had what it takes when they let Russell Wilson go, and he was like, hey, you're the guy.
You notice something about Pete Carroll? He had 2 sticks of gum in instead of 1. Trust me, he likes Geno.